Hey guys, how's it going? Valk here. So, Smilegate just dropped the newest information on aespa's Giselle, and I'm just kind of here to give you guys my first impressions on this unit's kit. And without further ado, I just want to jump into it. As far as her base stats goes, she is a Scorpio mage for the Earth element. You just have to visualize this as a 5-star Challenger Dominial. If you know anything about that unit, she goes pretty crazy on her offensive base stats. So amplified to 5-star, I think we're going to see a unit that does a lot of damage, especially since both of her imprints are attack based. Giselle's S3, Frame of Light. Okay, so this one goes a little bit crazy. So she's going to do the damage first and then increase attack for herself and then an ally with the highest attack besides her for 2 turns. The attack buff for herself doesn't mean much, but that tells me she's going to be able to nuke something and then also attack up her ally. So this one also ignores damage sharing effects in PvP, which means it's going to be able to bypass Aureus, as well as Escort on units like SC Arrow, as well as Peyra, which I think is pretty important, especially for a nuker in this day and age. When the enemy is defeated, it's going to grant an extra turn to her, so it does let her pop off pretty hard on her turn. And as we see in the demo, she actually manages to hit pretty hard because we'll see later with her other abilities, but with a single attack up, she is able to actually hit a shoe for 25,000 damage through Vigor, which I actually think is a crazy amount of damage. Basically putting her on par with maybe like an Irvelin or even Commander Pavel if I'm being optimistic. But as you guys know, with damage dealer units, usually you have to kind of see where their damage scalings lie before we kind of come to a conclusion of how good they are. So going forward, that's definitely something we have to look forward to. But seeing the damage test, I'm very optimistic about how her damage looks. Now, for all damage dealers, we all know in Epic 7, how are we going to enable these units, right? So with her passive, she's going to receive 50% bonus from all CR push, meaning auxiliary loss will push her by 150%. Units like Amelia and Ning Ning will be able to push her by 75%. Desert Jewel Basar will be pushing her by 45%. So on and so forth. So basically, she's going to be really easy to enable, especially brute force through Politis. And that leads me into the second part of her kit, which at the start of her turn, at max Mola, will have a 100% chance to dispel 1 debuff. This tells me one thing. She is designed to be played with units like Amelia, Oxlots, and maybe even Blue Flan to be powered through Abyssal Crown Politis, because even if she gets crowned, right, she will be able to remove the stun from herself the moment she goes, which I think is absolutely crazy, because not only will you get a bonus CR push to let you be able to cut the Politis, essentially, you nullify a Politis, which I think is absolutely crazy. And even if the Politis is on Crown and the Crown does proc, you'll still be able to cleanse it. On top of that, the cleanse also give you amazing matchup versus units like C. Lilius if you have a support that can get rid of the other debuff. So I'm actually huge on her passive, and I think it's going to enable her to play in aggro and cleave very naturally. So that combined with her really aggressive base stats, meaning she could probably go on attack boots, go like mid-low speed and still be pushed to the top, or mid-speed and just, you'll be able to push her right through a Politis. And I think that's very significant. Playing for, RTA, GVG, or Arena in 2022 and 2023. Okay, her S1 will attack and then increase combat readiness of another ally besides her. So an ally with the highest attack means she'll be able to nuke, attack up, and then CR push that same ally for 15% after all molas. So almost like a Zahak when she uses her S1. Now her soul burn isn't very great. You burn 10 souls to increase damage, which generally speaking is one of the weaker soul burns, but that does have really natural synergy with her artifacts, which we'll see in a bit. But so far, this tells me her play pattern, she'll be played somewhere in the realms of like how we would see Green Irvelin played, or even in some cases like Roy Mustang, the same way Elf Mage or KJ would play her, or play him rather, where these units could just eat a CR push, get pushed to the top, drop 2 units, and just maybe have enough utility. So instead of being like Roy, for example, where Roy Mustang is designed to nuke an entire team, Giselle should just be able to nuke one person, attack up an ally, CR push the same ally, and then that ally will be able to do the same amount of damage. And if this surging light with the soul burn multiplier is any good, she's going to be able to lay a lot of hurt. So she might even be like an Evelyn type unit where she's expected to kill 2, and on top of that, still CR push and attack buff another ally, which I think goes pretty crazy. So to me, so far, the closest comparison I can draw her to is maybe Evelyn, Roy, Melissa, right, in these like CR type cleaves. But I think she has the distinct advantage of still being able to enable another ally of hers, which gives way more tempo to an aggro or a cleave, and I think that's like immensely valuable in these types of drafts. For her artifact, Frame of Light, initially I wasn't huge on it, but when I'm thinking about how Giselle would be played, right, because for her, having a Tagahel's Ancient Book, which is the default mage artifact for any type of aggro or cleave, isn't actually super necessary if you think about it, because her kit isn't really cohesive enough if you can't snag a kill with the S3. I think being able to kill on S3 is immensely important. So having an artifact like Frame of Light to boost her damage the same amount a Symbol of Unity would. On top of that, when the enemy is defeated by a single attack, gain 10 souls at the start of the next turn. So she will be able to nuke a unit and then immediately take an extra turn and gain that 10 souls to soul burn her S1. And if her damage ratios are as good as I hope she is, she's going to be an absolutely juicy unit. Now, the problem with this artifact is it has 0 current synergies with any other mage in the game. Like, for example, Spectre Tenebria and Politis need to take a book to get their extra turn. So that kind of removes its own self-synergy. Top model Luluka, for example, can't kill when she takes her extra turn, so she needs to, get her extra turn first, nuke something, hopefully kill, and then take another turn for the souls to come in, which by then you kind of lose a lot of tempo. So, and on top of that, the enemy needs to die to a single target attack, which means like AoE units like Sage Vivian, which is really popular right now, can't activate this. So it's kind of a shame. It's so specific, but I think if Giselle's damage ratios are good, this artifact is going to be immensely helpful. And with that, the only thing left, the password for the current chest sitting in our mailbox right now should be Frame of Light, and that should be it. Very, short and sweet reveal. I think this unit is pretty exciting, although she does have a lot of overlap with existing units like Evelyn. So I hope there's angle with this unit that I'm not seeing. And you know what? If there's something you guys saw with this unit that I didn't, or you guys like the take, don't like the take, feel free to leave in the comments and we can have a discussion. For now, though, that's it from me for this video. If you guys are looking for her debut as well as showcase and guide, make sure to leave me a like and a subscribe. So when that video comes out next week, you guys can be here first to see it. And yeah, I appreciate you guys for coming. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take it easy and stay safe out there. See ya.